Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name's Jake. Right here is a 2009 Ford Taurus that I just picked up. It runs and drives great, but it does have a little bit of cosmetic damage. I'm gonna go ahead and take the hood off and the front bumper off and see just kind of how far the damage goes. So fortunately, I don't think I have to take the hood off. But we do need to get this little plastic valance out of the way just to see how bad it is. All right, so luckily, the extent of the damage actually wasn't that bad. It looks like bumper cover is pretty bad. The grill's iffy, but the most things that broke on this thing were all the plastic pieces. So the plastic buffer for the bumper, and then there's like a plastic radiator support that cracked. So that's kind of the extent of the damage, actually. The radiator's good, the condenser's good, headlights are good. The bumper bar is a little bent, but I think I can tack weld that and get a puller and kind of pull that out. But other than that, it must have been a pretty low speed crash because it wasn't too bad at all. All right, well, I'm off to LKQ to see if I can't find a couple parts for this thing. They said they had 4 in stock, but unfortunately none of them are black. So if we could find a good, dark colored one, maybe we can paint it to match, but it won't be a huge deal. Okay, so go figure, LKQ didn't have everything I needed. That's no shocker there. So I had to buy this new bumper cover from eBay, and it came folded up in like 3 different sections in a package that was about this size. So I was a little worried. I took it out of the box and let it kind of breathe and sit in a weird angle, and it did kind of just unfold itself. So we're good there. And I'm gonna go ahead and sand all this down with 1500, 2000 grit sandpaper and some Scotch-Brite so we can get that paint to stick to it. It's already been primed. It just needs to be a little roughened up so we can have some paint stick to it. And yeah, I think it'll be just as good as a new one that's painted professionally, so we're gonna find out. Okay, so I don't know about every O'Reilly's, but I know my O'Reilly's actually in town has like a paint mixing area where you can give them the paint code and they will mix up the paint, the exact factory color that you need. So it comes as these little aerosol cans. I think you can get it for like a paint gun, but obviously I'm not that fancy. So to locate your paint code, there's gonna be a little VIN sticker, typically right on the driver's side door panel area or like the pillar. And it'll have, the VIN and tire pressures and whatnot. And it'll say paint code, and it'll usually be a 2-digit, it'll either be numbers or it'll be letters, typically in my case, it's been letters. So this was UH. And yeah, it's pretty much all you give the guy or girl behind the counter, and they mix it up and you go pick it up. It's super expensive. 1 can was like $31, so 60 bucks, $62 for 2 cans. And then you gotta get some clear coat, of course, too, so. It is what it is. Cheaper than getting it professionally painted, but still not super cheap. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of scuff this over real quick, just to make sure there's no abrasive areas or pieces of plastic sticking out. I'm just gonna use a little bit of Scotch-Brite here. Obviously make sure it's clean and just kind of go over it real quick. Just, not to spend too much time in one area, just lightly all over it. All right, next you want to take some kind of like terry cloth, which is just basically a sticky cloth, pretty much. It just kind of catches all the lint and stuff like that and all the dust that it's just created. And then after that, kind of rub some mineral spirits on there, and that'll just kind of get everything on there nice and prepped, and you'll be ready for paint. So I don't know if you can tell, but it is coming down out there. Kansas thunderstorms, we're right now in the middle of May, so this is our tornadic weather and severe thunderstorm warning time of the year. But right now it's just been kind of rain, so we'll see if it progresses. But this is kind of the perfect day. Not a lot of dust in the air, not anything blowing, in here. So I'm doing it in my garage. You want to be in a well-ventilated area. You don't want to be somewhere that's, obviously in your house or outside where bugs and stuff are going to land in the paint. So you want to be somewhere, pretty enclosed and, also ventilated. All right, you want some way to kind of support it. I went ahead and wiped it all down, took a terry cloth on it, got all the unnecessary junk off of there. Obviously, they make real holders for these. I don't do it enough, and I'm sure you don't either. So, I mean, a little stool like this worked perfectly. I got this at, I think, Costco, probably, gosh, 10 years ago maybe a little less. But it works great. A little top right there will hold it. And we'll be able to get all the corners, not have to touch any areas, stuff like that. And obviously I'm gonna move it away from my truck. I don't want to get overspray on the truck. Or I might put a blanket or something over that too, just to make sure. I shouldn't have too much overspray, but I don't want to be getting that off the truck. All right, it's very important to be safe. Paint's no joke. You don't want that in your eyes or your lungs. I always like to joke around, but it's kind of serious, is you never see old painters, and that's because, they're, well, I've been doing this forever, and then they take their mask off, or, they'll just, I'll just take a 5-minute job, and you never see them old. They're in their late 60s maybe, and they die of some kind of weird cancer. So this stuff's no joke. You don't want to be breathing this in. So just wear a mask. I know it's kind of annoying, and they, kind of pinch and stuff, but, if you want to see your grandkids someday, I definitely recommend it. Some kind of a safety goggles is another thing I recommend. I wear contacts, and sometimes the dust and stuff will get in those contacts and really mess them up, and then they're kind of worthless. So obviously the same goes for eyes too. So just wear safety glasses.
All right, hopefully you can hear me pretty good. But basically, just want to shake your can profusely, probably for about maybe 2 minutes. Just non-stop shaking it, get all that paint mixed up pretty well.
Okay, so I think I got a pretty good, first coat on there. Just kind of go lightly You don't want to, it's not going to, you know, make it look like it's going to go on the car yet. So probably about 2 or 3 coats and it'll be good. I'm gonna let this dry for about 30 minutes and then we will reconvene for the second coat.
Okay, we're ready for round 2 here, so we're gonna go ahead and start. It's obviously gonna be a little thicker and it's gonna start looking like, you know, actual paint job. So. So getting darker. Metallic is not a fun paint to paint, that's for sure. But I think maybe 2 more cans will do what I need. You can see all the little metallic flake in there. Unfortunately, a little bit of dust and stuff is flowing on here. But I think 1 or 2 more coats will get her done. Nice and thick down here. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time and effort, so. Sorry, I'm trying to take the mask on and off, depending on if I think you can hear me or not. So. It's also kind of dark in this garage. I got a little shop light trying to help me here. I went a little heavier on this side. So. We'll see as it dries how it turns out. Right now it's, you know, obviously wet in spots. But I'm thinking 2 more cans might get the job done, and then we'll go ahead and wet sand it again and clear coat. So it's a process.
Okay, I went ahead and put the 3rd can, so I think 3rd coat of spray on there. I went ahead and just put it down in the visual areas. It's looking pretty good. You can really see the metallic now, good coverage. I mean, I was impressed for a spray can what this little thing could do. And it's just O'Reilly's brand U-All. Oh, U-Paul. U-Paul? U-Paul? I don't know. Custom car aerosol can. It did pretty good. I mean, the spray, they call that the, not the wand, but the, I don't know, the spray, the wideness of the spray was really good. Like, it's off the top of my head right now. I can't think of what the heck it was called. But it did really good coverage. The fan was really good. So, I'm impressed. I haven't done too many aerosol spray paint jobs, maybe 2 or 3. I used to have a pretty nice gun, but you know what happens when you loan things out. They don't always come back the way you loaned them out, so that's okay. I'll invest in one someday, but for right now, I'm pretty impressed with just the technology of spray cans these days. So we're gonna let that dry for probably, I'm gonna say 24 hours. And it's Friday now, so maybe 48. I'll put probably the next 2 coats of clear coat on there, and it'll look like a brand new freaking bumper. Alright, we got that last coat of clear coat on there. Man, it looks freaking awesome. Kind of bubbled up in some weird spots. I don't know if I had like a chemical reaction or something. As you see right there. So, I have to wet sand that. But other than that, a little bit of polishing, I think it's going to look really good. So. All right, as you can see, everything's back together. Looks like a brand new car, probably better than it did, you know, when the other person owned it. So, pretty much straightforward. You know, wasn't a lot of damage at all, really. It was just cosmetic, no structural damage. So, yeah, I mean, the paint turned out really well. The clear coat turned out really well. We got some fog light bezels in here that were missing when I bought the car. So, she's ready for sale now.